Labor Day protests and strikes take over France, Italy, and Netherlands. Taliban government says without its participation, UN organized conference on Afghanistan in Doha and it would be ineffective. Pope Francis urges Hungarians to open doors to migrants. Monkeypox, world's first RSV vaccine for older adults. Bangladesh Met Department issues alert over low pressure in South Bay of Bengal. In Bangladesh, more than half of the women are married before the age of 18. World Press Freedom Index 2023. More than 1 million polio vaccines destroyed in Sudan, said UNICEF. Labor Day protests and strikes have taken over France, Italy, and Netherlands, with the workers and labor union demanding better government policies to safeguard their rights and meet their wage demands. French President Emmanuel Macron faced nationwide protests in the country, with the demonstrators denouncing his pension reform, which saw the retirement age increasing from 62 to 64 in the country. The legislation also requires people to work 43 years to receive a full pension, among other changes to the system. In Italy, Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni also faced demonstrations from labor unions who called on her government to increase wages and reform the country's tax policy. Meloni's government is set to unveil a labor package on Monday amid the protest. Labor Day protests also took over Netherlands, which saw unions demanding higher wages. Due to inflation, employees of the largest labor union in Netherlands, FNV, had offered its employees a wage increase of 3 to 7% this year, followed by a 5% increase next year and automatic price compensation with a maximum of 5% from 2025 onwards. Taliban government says that without its participation, the United Nations organized conference on Afghanistan in Doha would be ineffective. The Afghanistan government has not been invited to attend 2 days meeting. The Taliban Foreign Ministry spokesperson told a news channel that any meeting about Afghanistan without the participation of Afghan government is ineffective and counterproductive. Envoys from United States, China and Russia as well as major European aid donors and key neighbors such as Pakistan are among the representatives from about 25 countries and groups called to 2 days of closed-door talks by UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres in Qatari capital on Monday. Last week, the UN chief said de facto Afghan rulers would not be invited to the meeting to discuss the dire humanitarian situation in the country and its international isolation. Pope Francis has urged Hungarians to open doors to immigrants, ending his visit to the country led by a nationalist anti-immigration cabinet. Speaking at an open-air mass in the capital Budapest, the Pontiff said it was sad and painful to see doors closed to people who were unlike us. Up to 1 lakh people attended the mass, including the Prime Minister Viktor Orban. Addressing the crowd near the Hungarian Parliament building on Sunday, Pope Francis pleaded to everyone, including those with political and social responsibilities, to be more open. Mr. Orban has criticized migration, building a barbed wire border fence to stop migrants crossing into Hungary. Scientists recently deciphered the structure of protein methyltransferase from monkeypox virus. It is with the help of methyltransferase protein that the virus escapes human immunity and causes monkeypox disease. It is a viral zoonotic disease caused by monkeypox virus. The first human case of mpox was recorded in 1970 in Democratic Republic of Congo. There are two known types of mpox virus, one that originated in Central Africa and one that originated in Western Africa. Common symptoms of mpox are a skin rash or mucosal lesions which can last 2 to 4 weeks, accompanied by fever, headache, muscle aches, back pain, low energy and swollen lymph nodes. Human to human transmission of mpox occurs through direct contact with body fluids, lesions, prolonged face-to-face contact including sexual contact, and indirect contact with contaminated clothing or bedding. There are no specific treatments for monkeypox virus infection. Early and supportive care is important to help manage symptoms and avoid further problems. On 2nd May 2011, Osama bin Laden, founder of the militant Islamist organization Al Qaeda and mastermind of numerous terrorist attacks, notably the September 1, 2001 attacks, was killed by US forces in Pakistan. The Grammy Awards were first presented by NARS in Los Angeles in 1959 when 28 prizes were given. Winners included Ella Fitzgerald, Frank Sinatra, and the Kingston Trio. The number of awards has increased as musical genres have emerged. The United States Food and Drug Administration approved world's first respiratory syncytial virus RSV vaccine that is meant for older adults. However, the vaccine still needs approval from the US Centers for Disease Control and Prevention before it can be rolled out to the public. In a statement, senior FDA official Peter Marks said that today's approval of the first RSV vaccine is an important public health achievement to prevent a disease which can be life-threatening. The vaccine was approved for people aged 60 and older after it was found 83% effective against diseases caused by RSV and more than 94% effective against severe diseases. The RSV infection more common among children, but at times it also attacks the elderly population. RSV normally cause mild cold-like symptoms, but it can be serious for people with weak immune systems. According to US Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, it leads to approximately 60,000 to 1,20,000 hospitalizations and 6,000 to 10,000 deaths among adults 65 years of age and older. The Bangladesh Met Department on Wednesday issued an alert message that a low pressure is likely to form over South Bay of Bengal around 7th May. It is likely to intensify. The system is under constant watch and being monitored regularly, said the alert message. In meantime, IMD in its weather outlook on Tuesday said that a cyclonic circulation is likely to develop over southeast Bay of Bengal around 6th May. Under its influence, a low pressure area is likely to form over the same region around 7th May. It is likely to concentrate into a depression over southwest Bay of Bengal on 8th May. Thereafter, there is a good possibility of its intensification while moving nearly northward towards central Bay of Bengal. The IMD said the system is under watch. The detail of its path and intensification will be provided after the formation of low pressure area. More than half of the women in Bangladesh are married before the age 18, says UNICEF, quoting a 2019 multiple indicator cluster survey. The report says that Bangladesh has the highest prevalence of child marriage in Asia and eighth highest prevalence in the world. Approximately 34.5 million women in Bangladesh were married before they turned 18. Over 13 million women were married before they turned 15. UNICEF data shows that 24% of the women give birth before the age of 18. UNICEF representatives to Bangladesh, Sheldon Yeti said, despite progress, the number of child brides in Bangladesh is staggering. He said millions of girls are being robbed of their childhood and denied their fundamental rights. He called for urgent and concrete action to protect girls to ensure that they stay in school and have the opportunity to grow up to their fullest potential. Girls who marry in childhood face immediate and lifelong consequences. They are less likely to remain in school and face an increased risk of early pregnancy, in turn, increasing the risk of child and maternal health complications and mortality. The practice can also isolate girls from family and friends and exclude them from participating in their communities, taking a heavy toll on their mental health and well being, said UNICEF. Nicholas Copernicus. He was a Renaissance polymath, active as a mathematician, astronomer, and Catholic canon, who formulated a model of the universe that placed Sun rather than Earth at its center. In all likelihood, Copernicus developed his model independently of Samos, an ancient Greek astronomer who had formulated such a model some 18 centuries earlier. The publication of Copernicus' model in his book The Revolutions of the Celestial Spheres just before his death in 1543. It was a major event in the history of science, triggering the Copernican revolution and making a pioneering contribution to the scientific revolution. It is an annual report published by global media watchdog Reporters Without Borders. Compare the level of freedom enjoyed by journalists and media in 180 countries and territories. Ranking is based on 5 categories: political, legislative, economic, socio-cultural, and safety of journalists. India is ranked 161 out of 180 countries. Press freedom in India has gone from problematic to very bad, with countries slipping 11 ranks since 2022 report. Except for Bangladesh, Myanmar and China, all other neighbors have a better rank than India. Bhutan 90, Nepal 95, Sri Lanka 135, Pakistan 150, Afghanistan 152. India was positioned 169 in political indicators, while it was 144 in legislative, 155 in economic, 143 in social indicators, and 172 in the safety of journalists. Norway is ranked first for the 7th consecutive year. It is an international NGO whose self-proclaimed aim is to defend and promote media freedom. Its headquarters is in Paris, France. It has consultative status with the United Nations. RSF defines press freedom as the ability of journalists as individuals and collectives to select, produce, and disseminate news in the public interest dependent of political, economic, legal, and social interference in the absence of threats to their physical and mental safety. The UN Children's Agency UNICEF told reporters on Friday that more than 1 million polio vaccines intended for children have been destroyed as a result of looting in Sudan during the upsurge in violence since April. The agency was in middle of a series of polio vaccination campaigns in Sudan following an outbreak at the end of 2022. A World Health Organization database shows there have been 28 attacks on healthcare facilities in Sudan since conflict erupted last month, pitting Sudan's army against paramilitary rapid support forces. Numerous humanitarian agencies have reported looting during Sudan crisis, including World Food Program, which said it lost 13 to 14 million dollars worth of supplies.